Hello and welcome to Estuary TV News with me, Dan Kemp. In tonight's show, we talk to Joe Barnes and Claire Cottingham from Care for All about their upcoming 24-hour sports fundraising event, and I'll bring you all the latest news from the world of sport. But first, here's James Dunn with the latest news headlines.
Hello, in the headlines today, police are looking for witnesses after a serious assault in Cleethorpes, and if you've seen a stormtrooper running around, you're likely to see some more of him. But first, an outbreak of norovirus that closed 2 wards at Scunthorpe Hospital has now been declared over. A deep clean has been carried out and the most recently closed Ward 16 is due to reopen today, but people with symptoms of diarrhoea and vomiting are still being asked to stay away as it is highly contagious. A 27-year-old man's jaw was broken in an assault in Cleethorpes in the early hours of Saturday morning. He was taken to Grimsby's Diana Princess of Wales Hospital for treatment after sustaining the injury at around 4:10 a.m. on Sea Road. Police are appealing for information. A serious fire that demolished a recycling plant in Louth was caused by an electrical fault, the fire service has confirmed. Firefighters from across Humberside and Lincolnshire gathered to tackle the blaze last Monday at GBM UK's warehouse on Bolingbroke Road. An investigation revealed it was caused by an electrical fault, but no more is known at this point. Postal ballots are now going out to 70,000 people in East Riding asking what they think of Hull expanding to include them. The referendum and consultation is in response to plans from a Hull City Council Commission to extend its boundaries to include 12 extra parishes, including Anlaby, Cottingham and Heddon. The postal ballot does not include an option to keep the counties separate, and leader of East Riding Council, Stephen Parnaby, is urging residents to have their say and oppose the plan. The On Lincolnshire project, bringing new technologies which can help improve efficiency in business and in sport, has been nominated for a national award. Lincolnshire County Council secured European Union funding for the 5 technology hubs across the county in Louth, Horncastle, Mablethorpe, Lincoln and Boston. Businesses can use the equipment, which includes a 3D printer and 3D motion capture equipment, for free. Some of the equipment was previewed at a cricket match at Louth's Pavilion last week as a team of former professionals lined up against the RAF's best. It can slow down movement, allowing coaches to analyse technique or be used for business processes to find efficiencies, as well as for artistic purposes.
These facilities are something that's very unique to the whole of the country, where European funding and the County Council have come together to offer businesses and communities the opportunity to trial new technologies that aren't available on the high street, and for businesses to come in, do prototypes, try before they buy if they want to invest in that themselves. And we've got 5 quite different hubs around the county.
I think we can look at your movement patterns. Some of the top 5 running examples of injury come down to your movement pattern, and if we look to see where you're doing something wrong, perhaps alter that and prevent that injury from happening.
New cameras spotted next to roads in Grimsby and Cleethorpes are not being used for any kind of enforcement, according to the council. Users on social networking sites have been complaining about new speed cameras in the town, which popped up last week. However, North East Lincolnshire Council said in a statement that they're simply being used to collect data, so in the future they can improve junctions where necessary. And finally, the armour was designed for fighting Jedi, but it's not quite thick enough for a charity fundraiser from Hull, who's really put it through its paces. Justin Arnold, or the Storm Runner, started earlier this year running long-distance races all over the UK dressed as one of the Star Wars stormtroopers to raise money for Kidscape. He decided to extend his running calendar into next year to raise more money, but unfortunately the suit, worth more than £1,000, wasn't going to make it. But luckily the suit's designer heard about Mr Arnold's plan and donated a new one to the Storm Runner so he can continue to race.
As you can imagine, the costume that I've chosen gets a huge amount of interest and a great deal of support. It makes running a real pleasure, because as I'm running along every single course, they're always cheering, shouting, "May the Force be with you." It is incredibly difficult. As you can see, the costume itself restricts a lot of movement. It's incredibly hot inside here, very little ventilation, and you can't see very much either. But apart from that, it's ideal. Andrew Ainsworth, who is the guy who originally designed the Stormtrooper costume for George Lucas for the original films and made them, has made this costume and the previous one as well. He's replaced the original costume that I wore simply because it wore out so badly with all the running. the banging together of the plastic bits of armour really took its toll on it.
Well, I'm afraid that's all we've got time for on today's bulletin. I must apologise for my slightly croaky voice, but we got there in the end. Bye for now. I'll see you next time.
Thanks, James. Now, a 26-mile walk doesn't sound too appealing to me, but the Care for All group and the Care Plus group have come together to arrange this and a number of other sporting activities as part of a 24-hour sport fundraising event. Joining me in the studio are Joe Barnes and Claire Cottingham from Care for All to tell me more. Thanks for joining me. So to start with, can you just tell me a little bit about what Care for All does?
Care for All, it's a charity based in North East Lincolnshire, providing services for people with disabilities.
Okay, so you've come up with the idea of doing a 24-hour sportathon. Just tell us a little bit about that, Joe?
Yeah, we originally wanted to do something different, something innovative, something that would capture people's interest. And for a few years, Claire, my colleague here, had arranged a bounce-a-thon, which was basically people doing a sponsored trampoline event which lasted for 24 hours. We then decided to combine it with a range of other sponsored initiatives, including the 26-mile walk, which is round our 4 charity sites in North East Lincolnshire.
I guess the idea of basing it on sport, I think sport brings people together, I think it's fair to say. And would you say that sport is quite a good vehicle for you to promote your event?
Yeah, sure, because one of our main ethos is around promoting health and well-being. And because of the work that the charity does, there's nothing better to promote people's health and well-being than sport. Plus, regardless of disability or age, everybody can join in with sports.
Okay, so I understand there's a little bit of a story about why you thought of this idea. Just tell us a little bit about that as well.
Well, just going on from what Joe said, everyone can take part because the equipment we've got adapted equipment like our cycles. There's a cycle for everyone. People can be hoisted out of the wheelchairs on the front of the cycle, or there's one with a platform where someone in a wheelchair can be strapped down on there. The side-by-side bike, so everyone can take part. Like the trampoline is floor level, so people can either walk onto it, be hoisted onto it, run onto it. Everyone can take part. So it is getting everyone involved in whatever activity.
So I guess it's great that these people, of course, anyone can do any of these sports thanks to the work that you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've got a cycle track outside the back of Cromwell Road Health and Wellbeing Centre. So service users during the week can use a cycle track, use a cycling, people can walk, especially during the sponsored 24-hour event. We can walk out there, it gets floodlit at night, so we can keep things going.
So who can get involved?
All night.
And who is
Anybody.
getting involved?
We want as many people as possible to get involved on the day. There's a small group of us who are determined to do the full 26 miles, the walking challenge. However, we'd very much like anybody to come along and join us, even if it's just for 1 mile or the whole 26.
I was going to say, because 26 miles does sound like it could put some people off, but I
Yes.
know, of course, it'll be a fantastic occasion.
Yeah.
And you're hoping that as many people as possible will take part in it all, but you're happy for anyone to take part for as little as they
Yeah,
want
and
as
people
well.
can come along and have a bounce on the trampoline, although they can have a cycle
have a
ride.
go on the back. Or even just to come along and see what's going on. You know, people don't necessarily come to part, just to come and see what people are doing.
Okay, so how can people get involved if they want to?
Well, they can ring us. They can contact myself or Claire directly, and they can ring us at Cromwell Road Health and Wellbeing Centre.
Or they can just turn up on the day, because I say something will be going on from 7 o'clock in the morning. I think it starts at 6 o'clock. The people start the trampolining at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then we finish at 6 o'clock the following day.
And of course, you need to raise money. That's the main point of it. You need to raise money for the great cause you have. So tell us a little bit how people can donate.
They can donate to us through Just Giving. We have that link, or they can donate directly to us at the Health and Wellbeing Centres or through our website, which is www.careforall.org.uk.
Okay, so just tell us a bit more about Care for All. Obviously, the jobs that you two are doing obviously must be very rewarding. Just tell us a little bit about the day-to-day work that you're actually involved in.
Well, my job is actually to manage the whole of the charity and work very closely with the charity trustees to make sure that the charity continues to develop and thrive. So in a sense, whilst I don't get to work with the people that we support on a daily basis, and I have to let many of my other staff do that, it is incredibly rewarding. But Claire, you have a lot more contact with the people who use our services.
Yeah, I mean, our service, we're helping people who get direct payments and personal budgets and actually employ their own workers. So whereas traditionally a young person would finish school at the age of 19 and go to a day centre, they've now got the option of employing their own workers to be able to do what they want to do when they want to do it.
Yep.
So they actually employ their own workers.
Right.
Yeah.
So just as a final point, just clarify for us again, just remind us exactly how people can get involved in it and where your walk will be going from.
Our walk is starting at Cromwell Road Health and Wellbeing Centre at 7:30 on Friday the 19th of September. People can contact us at the centre on 01472 57. I can't remember the telephone number.
571
No, it's
100 or 629 700.
That was a right
We got there in the end.
Can you edit that bit?
Anyway, thanks for joining us both, Claire and Joe.
Yeah.
Now it's time for some more sports news, and on non-league day on Saturday, Grimsby Town defeated winless Welling at Blundell Park. John Paul Pittman and Ross Hannah each netted in the comfortable victory for the Mariners. North Ferriby United weren't so fortunate during a fractious afternoon at home to Solihull Motors. The team lost by 3-1 after the opponents were awarded a controversial penalty before Ferriby were denied a claim of their own. In League One, Scunthorpe United lost 2-0 at Bristol City. Hull City chairman Assem Alam attended his first Hull Tigers ladies game since he committed to further backing of the side. He watched the team start slowly and concede 2 early goals, but fought bravely to get back into the game and eventually lose 4-2 to York City. The side have recently put into place a plan to reach the Women's Super League within 6 years.
I sponsor the ladies because I'm all for ladies football. It is most enjoyable, actually. First time I watch on television, but this is the first time I come to live match, and it's very interesting and fantastic to watch. And I would like to promote the ladies football in Hull and East Yorkshire, and that's why I sponsor 100%. Same any sport, I'm all for support most sports I can if I can. Squash, youth football clubs, many youth football clubs, some rugby clubs. So it's the same thing. I would like to promote the ladies in East Yorkshire and to become a big international squad.
The Hull Stingrays suffered 2 defeats on the opening weekend of the Elite League ice hockey season. The side lost 3-2 after overtime against the Cardiff Devils on Saturday and lost 8-6 to the Brayhead Clan on Sunday. Before the fixtures, I caught up with player coach Omar Pasha about his expectations for the new season.
I think we should compete with everybody, and we have a fast team, and you know, I've never seen a team that's really quick struggle. So we'll see how it goes, but hopefully it goes well, and we'll have a good year. I got help from other guys that are here, Carlos On and Bobby McEwen's helping me a lot too. So, I mean, it's an easy transition from player to head coach, but it's going well so far. Bumps in the road we had, but I think it's a learning period as well, and I've learned a lot so far, and I think it's going well.
Yorkshire Amateur beat Cleethorpes by 7 wickets to claim the Yorkshire ECB Premier League. Notable performances for the academy included England Under-17 international Mohsen Hussain, who hit a huge 6 during the game at Chichester Road. And finally, Cleethorpes golfer Holly Clyburn finished in 20th position at the Helsingborg Open in Sweden on Sunday. Unfortunately, that's all the sport we've got for you this time, and indeed all we've got for the show. But don't forget, if you've got some stories you want to share with us, please get in touch. Our number is Grimsby 315 561. But you can also get in touch via Facebook or Twitter at Estuary TV, or email us on info@estuary.tv. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.